What's up, you guys? In today's episode, I go over the new EVH 5150 Retro. Stay tuned. What is up, you guys? It's your boy Louie Torres, and here is the interesting take on the fact that EVH is coming out with a 5150 retro amp. You know how I know? Check out this photo right here. So this image was actually on Wolfgang Van Halen's Instagram account, and funny enough, like no one ever noticed it, right? And one guy was just like, hey, what's that in the background, that half stack? Is that an EVH 5150? And Wolfgang confirmed that it actually was. So here's the funny thing is, it literally looks just like that PV 5150. Visually, the difference is that the 5150 font is different. It almost has like a World War II, Vietnam kind of old-fashioned font that they used. So it's apparent that it's not a PV 5150. And then where it says PV, right, because I'm pointing that way, where it says PV, you can vaguely make out that there's something smaller, but on the cabinet, which also reads 5150, down in the corner, you'll see, and it's plain as day, you can see that it's EVH down there. So here's the funny thing is, you know, we go around trying to figure out, you know, should I get the the EVH 6L6, which is the original white model? Should I get the EVH EL34, which everyone loves? I have one, and of course everyone, and I agree with the fact that you have to clip at least one of the capacitors, and that makes the blue channel bearable. It sounds great after that. And then, of course, there's the Stealth also, you know, and the Stealth without question. And listen, my second amp that I ever had in my life was a PV 212 combo back in like 1989. I bought it at a pawn shop in Park Slope, Brooklyn. But I have a few. I have that 5150. I have a 6505 and a 6505 Plus. I have a 6505 112 with a Celestion V30 that you can't see. I have my EVHs here. So clearly I have always been a huge PV fan. Hartley, unfortunately, had to ship things overseas, but it is what it is. But now you have EVH, and they are basically launching a new take on the old PV 5150. And of course, you guys probably know already that that they have rehired James Brown, who is the original designer of the PV 5150 back in the early 90s. But what can you or should you expect come, whether it's 2021 or 2022, that they actually go ahead and launch that amp? For me, and this is just based on, you know, your guess is as good as mine, but kind of considering how some of these newer amps have been heading, I feel you're going to have that 5150 as a 100 watt or, you know, possibly multi-watt, either 50 100 or 100 150. It's going to be voiced, I think, more like the Stealth, because that, you know, it's the best, I think, of all of the Eddie signature amps. You have all these amps that came back to back, but ultimately, if you have a Stealth and if you've always been a PV fan, then you would probably know without question that the Stealth is the best voiced. And I'm talking about the 50 watt, which is different, that's voiced differently than even the EVH 100 watt Stealth, because this one just recently came out. And James Brown apparently did a few little changes to it, so it's naturally going to be voiced different than the 100 watt, although the 100 watt sounds absolutely brutal AF. But I think it's going to be voiced like the 50 watt EVH Stealth. Then you're going to have little things like DI out from the back. You're going to have internal IRs that you can download right from the EVH website, because it seems like, you know, when you have companies like Two Notes working with some of these other companies and they're actually working well together, like with Rev, you know, that's naturally, you know, it's just what's ultimately going to happen. You know, you have companies like Mesa, who just came out with the Badlander, that basically incorporated all of their smaller IRs, right? So, you know, here I have the Two Notes Cab M, and this is basically what some companies are using. You know, you have DI out, you have the IR cab simulator, but if you can have this inside your amp, and you have Mesa doing it, and you have Rev amplification doing it, and I think, and I could be wrong, Dover is doing that also next. So again, it just seems like that's just the natural progression that it's going. So, you know, who doesn't want a 5150 that's made by the Eddie Van Halen gang? You know what I'm saying? So I think that that's where it's naturally going to go. What do you guys think? Leave a comment below. You know, again, as of today, you can go to Wolfgang Van Halen's Instagram account. It is literally the 10th photo down, and it's the amp is on the upper right-hand side. So just, you know, take a screenshot of it, zoom in, pinch zoom, take another screenshot of it, and then zoom in again. You can see that, you know, I don't know how that leak kind of happened. You know, I kind of think that that's probably done on purpose. Like, hey, let's see how many people pick up on the fact that back there is an EVH 5150 that looks like a PV, but it's not a PV. And it's just marketing. It's marketing at its best. You know, I caught wind of it and I was just like, oh, that's so funny. And then kind of realized, like, hey, is it me, or do a lot of people just not know about it? And apparently a lot of people just don't know about it, because, you know, if you're an Eddie fan, you're an Eddie Van Halen fan. You're not going to be necessarily a fan of his son, who's the bassist of Van Halen. And, you know, for the most part, guys like you and I we're into metal. We're not necessarily into, whoa, you know, the whole, not Sammy Hagar. What the hell was his name? Whatever the first singer's name is. I know. I never really listened to Van Halen, except of course when I was a kid, and that is what it is. So, leave in the comments the name of Van Halen's first singer, and also let me know what you guys think. Like, what else could you possibly add to a PV amp, an EVH amp? You know, other than voicing, you know, like I said, DI, having IRs built in, and of course they'll be able to make additional revenue by selling different packages of IRs, and that's kind of it, right? That's the only thing I could possibly think of that they can do new for this next generation of EVH amps. So guys, hey, if you haven't hit the subscribe button, do so right here. Thank you so much for watching. We just hit 4,500. Thanks to you guys. What's up? What's up? Hell yeah. So guys, thank you so much for watching, for sharing, for hitting me up with awesome questions. And dude, yo, I'm just another guy, man. You know, I get guys and they'll, you know, follow me on Instagram, and I follow back, and they're just like, oh, that's cool. Like, you're following me back. And I'm just like, bro, it's just me, dude. It's me, and in a room with all this craziness. But yo, you know, I got a mortgage too, just like you do, a car payment, bills, that's life, you know, and I live life, and I try to entertain with craziness like this. And of course, with the announcement, I guess it's an announcement, right? Like, you know, like, think about that. Like, I don't think anything's out there with the new EVH, you know, and there's proof, because if you go through his Instagram account, you'll see where someone asked them that question and he confirmed that it actually is. So that's his announcement. Maybe, you know, it's like proposing to your girlfriend and suddenly you realize like, oh, they found my engagement ring. Yes, I'm proposing to you, you know? It's kind of one of those things. All right, guys. So, hey, thank you so much for watching. You guys are the absolute best. Thank you for letting us reach 4,500. Fam, guys, thank you so much. You guys are the best. And as usual, I'll talk to you soon.